Hey guys, I want to make up a video showing the process that I use to make my front pocket wallets. Like this guy right here. This one's been hanging out in my pocket for several months now. Holds up great, very heavy duty, made out of 1000D Cordura with a multicam binding. Has a strap on the back for your cash. Make this in the olive drab Cordura as well as the black with black multicam also. I have several of these in the field now. The feedback's been great, so I wanted to kind of have a brief explanation and a brief overview of how I do that. This isn't meant to be a tutorial by any means, but just kind of a brief explanation of how it's done. I'll follow along with the video, see if it may help you in your future endeavors. Stick around and show you how it's done. I start off with a piece of 1000D Cordura. This is in the olive drab. And I also have a template, a permanent template I made out of a piece of Lexan. Here I'm making the folds so you can kind of visualize and see how this all comes together. I make these wallets double layer. I used to skip over this step and go ahead and sew in the cash strap on the back and then go ahead and binding it together. I did find that this kind of holds it together a little tighter in the process, and also you can't go wrong with an extra layer of stitching. Here I take a vector file of my logo and send it as a mirrored image to my vinyl cutter and go ahead and cut it out of some heat transfer vinyl. Once the image is cut, I'll go ahead and weed out the excess material on the vinyl decal and go ahead and mark the location on the wallet to make sure I get everything placed evenly. After the heat press is heated up to around 306 degrees or so, I'll go ahead and lay the material in there all lined up. Go ahead and press it for about 15 seconds. I'll remove the overlay and then go ahead and lightly press for another 5 or 6 seconds just to make sure it seats really well. And as the end result, you're left with a permanent bond of your logo onto the material. I used to do this with labels and tags, and I just found that they frayed over time, and I really wasn't fond of it. So this is the route I do take, and the other benefit is that you can do it with multiple colors. As you can see here, I'm going ahead and sewing the 2-inch elastic strap to the back of the wallet before I bind it all together. I do double stitch this on both sides, and then when you put the binding on, that you're left with a third stitch, so essentially it's a triple stitch. I use a Sailrite swing away binding attachment for my machine. It helps me get the binding on there squared up all the time without having to hold it with a bunch of clips or pins. I do find that this is kind of hard to do corners or 90-degree turns. I'm thinking about doing a right angle binding attachment in the future to give that a shot. Here in the last step, I make the final fold the two halves together, and go ahead and make the final stitch down the side and the bottom. Hold it all together. Hey guys, here's the final product. Hope you like my video. If you can do me a favor and hit that like button and subscribe, really appreciate it. I have all intentions on making more videos very similar to this in the future and getting them posted up. Any questions or comments or anything like that, just hit me up. I'll be glad to answer what I can. I really appreciate you guys watching. Thanks.